Hi, everybody. We are live from Q's Restaurant on York Road or Butterfield Road. Corporate partners, and they were kind of room for this 2020 of the year. And I'm here with Jerry Brown. We're going to talk a little bit about it.
Hello, my fine people. Q's is one of my Q's Pizzeria. Come join. They got fine food, and you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and of course, if anybody knows about fine food, Jerry, it would be the two of us.
Oh yeah, we were trying to cut back, but sometimes, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, so we're going to get to the Winter Dome League, 18-inch and with the 50 and over. And we showed you the men's 50 and over playoff game, pretty good game between the 55s and takers and 18-inch. So it was a small league. They only had 8 teams. Again, they were just trying to reestablish softball up in Rosemont. So good job by everybody involved to get it back in there. And we'll see. Hopefully it'll grow a tournament. And, we talked, at least I did, on a lot of the broadcasts. I thought Hex was going to be a better team this coming year. And they did turn around, and they are the number 1 seed. They did a good job in the dome. The 45s, we also talked about how they improved a little bit more depth. They picked up a few more players. Of course, Signature is Signature. They got some new faces that are going to be showing up, but they're the 3 seed. And Flashline was a combination of money line and flashback. And so I'll be a little curious next week during the playoffs to see who they actually get out, because I'm not sure if they actually collected rosters for this event. Fat Kids, they won the Class A glove last year, and they're making progress. They had a rough night when we were out there on Wednesday. They lost a pair of extra inning games.
Ooh.
But on the plus side, if you're a Fat Kid fan, they were missing 4 starters. So it was a pretty good showing. Future, I think, is going to be a problem. When you take a look at that team, I think they're going to be a big player in the A division. Then we have March. I know at times they didn't necessarily have everybody out. They're the 7 seed. And then we have Iron, the 8 seed. And Iron played a little bit better the other night. I know Danny Atkins been getting over a knee injury, and as a result of that, he hasn't necessarily been out. But the good news for Iron and Danny Atkins is that he's going to have all of his kids now. He's got one more kid in college. He'll be graduating here in the spring, and he'll finally have all of his young kids for the entire summer.
That's going to be interesting when he has his full arsenal. I'm going to look forward to seeing that, because at one point over the last couple of years, they've had to go back to school, and they've kind of been shorthanded towards the end. But hopefully, we'll see their team through the whole year.
Yeah, I think so. Danny, that Iron Group involved with his son, and I believe they won a state title. And then I think COVID came and they couldn't defend it. But, so he's been looking forward, I guess, to this year, to where he was finally going to have them, and they were all going to be softball players. So let's get to the actual bracket. And here's the bracket. I'm going to zoom in, and then we can get to it. We do have the times. So let's go over here. We'll start on the Hex side. And Hex, the 1 seed, will be playing Iron, the 8 seed. That game will be played Monday at 8 p.m. So, like I said, Hex been having a real good dome season. Iron played a little better the other day. I would, if I was Hex, I wouldn't sleep on them.
No.
But Hex is playing some pretty good softball. They look very relaxed right now. They picked up the Sauce kids, And the Sauce kids, high motors, they're there every day. They want to play, and really, besides one subtraction on the team, Hex has most of their big hitters back. So I would think Hex would get past this game, but I think Iron is not a pushover, even though they're the 8th seed.
This is a single elimination playoffs bracket, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's win or go home, huh?
Win or go home, man.
So,
there's no
tomorrow.
There's no tomorrow, man.
Wow.
So
that makes it very interesting. So my thing is, Hex probably should be the favorite as the 1 seed, but you never know. That's why we play the game. Is there anybody in that first bracket that you want to take a look at that we should be looking out for?
Well, I don't know if there's anybody in this Hex game that I would single out.
Or Iron.
I think that team, and like I said, from what I can see, the chemistry's been fantastic, and I think Hex making the effort to get into the dome and getting all of that. How are you doing? Getting introduced to the Sauce guys and
building chemistry.
Yeah, building the chemistry and getting that awkwardness out of the way is, I think, going to really pay dividends for Hex because, and that'll be very interesting too because I think we'll start to see, really who's on what team. Here in the Dome, you don't really know, although Hex has pretty much just been showing up with their group, so I don't think there'll be any surprises. And Danny Atkins is the same way. Iron, they come with their group. So, how are you looking at it?
I got a side question because something just popped up to me in my head, which is most of the time empty, but now it's full of something. The time frame, do you, as a coach or a manager, you think they should year 3, year 2, year 5, year 6? What do you think in terms of? Okay, we're here now.
Well,
I know you can't put a.
Of his son Tyler, and Danny's known these kids since they were small, so for Danny it was just a matter of them getting out of school and getting a certain amount of at bats and playing and experience. They're all good athletes, they all got talent, so his idea of a time length versus somebody like Cece, who lost some players with the Pharaohs a few years ago, and he had to go out and find more guys. Football and basketball with the NIL now, nobody's getting paid, but kids got short attention spans now. So if they come to your team and maybe you're pretty good, maybe you're better than you were the year before, but sometimes kids will take a look at that and they're in a hurry to win. So, I don't know if you can put a time frame on it, Jerry. I just think that, you might get lucky. You might get a,
build off that.
Right, but it's hard now, man. Back in the day, it was easy. You could pick up a piece or two every year, and you weren't losing 3 guys or 4 guys. And that becomes a lot harder. And to be honest with you, when you look at a team like Hex, Jimmy Moretti left, Mike Marola left, but the rest of that group basically stayed intact. So, they pick up 4 or 5 Sauce guys, a little younger in some spots. So, you never know. Look at the 45s. Their core group was pretty solid, but they had no depth. Now, when you look at what they picked up, they've got more outfield depth. They got more guys on the bench. Israel is going to, he's over with the 45s now.
When this happened?
Well, this happened over the winter, and he's
See
been
what
out
happens
there.
when you go to sleep and
He's
and
been
hibernate?
and Kelly, he gears up pretty good.
Never heard of this one.
So he's been out there helping. So, they're going to have more options, more flexibility. The last Aldo, he got hurt, and they didn't have a bona fide center fielder. They were pretty much done in any event that he couldn't make it to the finish line. So now they got more depth. They picked up a couple of outfielders. Mike Marola can pop out there. They picked up Scotty, who used to play with Dave Tenza. And, so Scotty's there, even though they've been playing him at third base, but he looks like he's been a third baseman his whole life. And we'll get a little bit more to what it looks like they're going to be doing defensively. But, they get, so that's a team who kept their core group together, but they were losing the bench type guys, and now it looks like they restocked.
Yeah, sorry we got off base, but I had to ask that question about the timeline because, like you said before, there's no defined time. But as a manager, you kind of, I think, me personally, I think that second going into that third year, you should, have a full head of steam, barring any injury setbacks or any other things. That's just me. 2 to 3 years.
Well,
if the players give you 2 to 3 years.
Well, that's just it. That's where the pressure comes in as a manager. How long can you keep telling a group we're going to be good? We're there. We just got to get 1 or 2 more pieces. They may cut you slack for a year, maybe 2, but if you get to the third year and you're still not advancing,
they're gone.
Then you got a problem.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the bracket. Bottom half of the bracket, and the winner here will feed into the Hex Iron winner, and that's Flashline. Again, that's a combo team with Flashback and Moneyline, and then the Fat Kids. So I'm not sure, and that game will be at 9 o'clock on Monday. So, Jerry, I'm not sure who Flashline will have out.
They'll be in blue. That's my guess.
But you know what? They're going to, they've got 2 teams worth of players and good players to draw on. So we'll see if it's the same group that's been coming out every night, or if next week a couple other guys might make an appearance or not. And, a little surprising that group is a 4 seed. But again, I think the first couple of games out, they may have had a little trouble getting players out, or they weren't at full steam, and they were playing some guys a little bit out of position. That may have cost them a game or 2 here or there. But, but we'll see, because they got a good lineup. They got a lot of good players that are coming out. And then you got the Fat Kids who, as a 5 seed, if they get their entire crew out, that could be a pretty entertaining game. And
I'm going to take the Fat Kids in that one.
So you're picking the upset.
It won't be upset to me. I'm going to take the Fat Kids. I'm going to tell you why. Because I think that when you have the what's it called? Flash dance? Flashline, excuse me, guys. If you call it when you got Flashline, a little shout out for Jessica, the dancer. When you got that, if 4 or 5 guys show up who haven't been there, that's going to throw everything off. So if someone who hasn't been showing up, they run out there, think they're going to start, shame on you. You be a good teammate, sit your butt there, and when your number's called, act like it, and sure be a good teammate, because you haven't been there at 9 o'clock losing sleep. Continue.
Well, like I said, that'll be an interesting game. I think that Flashline, if they're not ready to go, and I did talk a little bit with Junior, and
he's there.
Junior's been coming out. Jibbs has been coming out.
Heard Ryan Russ has been a shortstop.
No, they played him a little bit at second base. It's going to be very interesting, like I said, to see what's going to happen in that game. Just because it's a mixed team, it wouldn't surprise me if Fat Kids won. Of course, now that we're both talking about the Fat Kids, and I'm sure a couple of them are shaking their head going, no, don't wake Flashline up. But Jerry Brown making a prediction.
1918.
So now we're going to slide to the other side of the bracket, and we got the 2 seed, the 45s, taking on the 7 seed March. And, we've already talked a little bit about the 45s. Very interesting what they've been doing, with Scotty there. They've been playing him at third, and of course last year Jeff Mastari was playing third, and Jeff, one of the up-and-coming stars, a legacy kid. His dad, Frankie Mastari, one of the best shortstops of all time.
True.
So, they've been shifting Jeff over to shortstop, and Nate Mercado's been sliding up the middle and playing short center. So it's a little different look for the 45s defensively. I don't know if they're going to carry that over into the outdoor season. It's interesting. I think, it allows them to put another bat in the lineup. Scotty's been swinging the bat pretty good. He always hit the ball hard.
Heard he hasn't missed a beat.
Offensively, and like I said, playing third base, the kid looks like he's been there his whole life, even though when he was with Dave Tenza, he was an outfielder.
He's left fielder.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. And, of course, the other rumor was that, one of your favorite guys, Joe Yaris, was going to be getting back into and wanted to play more softball again. And, of course, Joe, a short center. We didn't see much of Joe last year. Don't know what kind of physical condition he's in. But, that could be problematic depending on what they're going to do with their lineup. Izzy and
Nate.
Between Israel, Kelly, and of course they've got Ram over there, and so they Ollie on the roster, and Joe, pretty good player, could probably go start and probably hit in the top 4 or 5, 6 of most teams. Mm-hmm. So when you look at them, they got better depth, they got more players. And, this could be a big lift for March playing the 45s. And with the experience level at the 45, March will be all over me when I see him on Monday.
You should be, because I got a prediction.
Well, you know what?
I got a prediction.
Every time they beat BTA last year, he would come up to me and say, "Hey, man, we're for real."
I got a prediction about this game.
Okay, I know you're gonna take March, I bet.
Are you crazy? I'm going to 45. I think one of my favorite guys, that guy Danny at second base, who's very underrated, who really doesn't get. He should get a gold star. Is this Villarreal? Is his last name?
Villarreal.
Danny Villarreal is probably a glue guy, and he doesn't talk. He just plays. And I wish we had more of those guys in softball.
And who does he remind you of?
Who does he remind me of?
Great effort.
I was testing you. I thought you were going to say somebody from Mudville. I'm so happy right now.
Well, but I did coach Mike.
Moving along.
And then we get to the bottom part of that bracket with the final matchup in the quarterfinals, and that's the 3-seed Signature playing the 6-seed Future. And Signature playing pretty well. Even though they're the 3-seed, they're a group that they got so many guys up and down the lineup that can go yard at literally any point in time that, there's no lead that's safe when you play Signature.
None.
They got good motors over there and a lot of guys that have been very successful for a long time. They've been picking up talent. Last year I thought when they picked up Greg Flowers, Fleming, I always call him Flowers. I don't know why. But when they picked Greg up, and Greg really settled in and was fantastic. And he's been out once or twice in the Dome. I didn't see him last week, and I don't know if this is something that is going to happen next year or not, but they had Sherman Martin Jr. out last week.
Didn't know that. Why are all these surprises? You guys kill. You're going to give me a heart attack. Why all these surprises?
This
should be a roster next year.
If there's a team in Washington Park that thinks Sherman's on their roster, they may want him to check up on him. But he may have just been coming out to get swings. Who knows? We don't know. We won't know really until next Saturday at Matty Dozen's tournament. But Signature, again, very good defensively. But what I will say is this Future team is not afraid.
No.
They have been scoring runs, and it doesn't matter who they've been playing. And they have a tendency at times to give up a lot of runs early. They gave up 10 to the 45s in a game. In the top of the first, they came right back, scored 7 in the bottom of the first, eventually caught the 45s at 10. 45s went up 11-10. They caught them at 11, and then, as the 45s are wont to do, again, 45s, a lot of guys that can go yard, they exploded for an 11 in the top of the seventh. And so the game didn't look that close, but for 6 innings, it was an
close.
absolute dogfight. And they did the same thing in a game with Signature. They gave up some runs, came back, and ended up losing kind of a tight ball game. So that team, unafraid. They got Anthony Stacy, who's still with Flashback, but he's moonlighting. He knows a lot of those future kids. And, they come out and they play hard, and they're going to swing the bats. And, again, you would expect Signature to win, but, Future has shown you that they'll stick their nose in it.
I got nothing to say. I think Signature is going to win. I think one person is one coach that's going to will his team to win. That's going to be Sal. I think Sal finds a way to win. He finds a way to compete each and every year. His roster might change, but he always is in the hunt. So I'm not going to look past Signature.
Possibly. I think Flashline and Fat Kids has got a chance to be a really good ball game.
1918 with Nocha walk-off, that's already predicted, so I don't know what to tell you about that.
Well, that would be a pretty good game, I would think.
Hey, I think so, too.
So the Hex Iron winner will play the winner of Flashline and Fat Kids, and that game would be then Wednesday at 8 p.m., and the winner of the 45's March, as we'll put that bracket back up, will play the winner of Signature Future, and that game will be at also 8 o'clock on Wednesday. And then immediately following those semifinal games, the championship game will be Wednesday at 9 p.m. And, of course, we'll be out there. We'll have a doubleheader for you on both Monday and Wednesday. And, just so you know, I don't know what the field assignments have been for these games. Chances are, especially on Wednesday, whatever diamond the championship game is at, I'll probably do both games there. So I don't want anybody thinking I'm playing favorites. It's just easier for me not to have to run from one side of the field to the other, especially with the fact that I need to reset titles and everything now that I figured out what was going wrong. I hope nobody gets upset by that.
Well, I want to speak for half the 48% of the softball community that we appreciate all your work. I mean, because we can all you're there from the first pitch to the last pitch doing 21, 28, 48 innings, again 48. You're doing all these innings and you get paid a great salary of nothing. So we want to say thank you for all you do, and we appreciate you.
And I caught what you did with the 48 the first time.
What's that?
When you said the 48%.
Oh, well, I mean,
and for those of you that don't know, Jerry is
that's my favorite number.
The great 48.
Not with oboes.
That's his uniform number. Well, you know what? I'll take that as a compliment that you didn't use my number and say 21% appreciated.
Never that.
But so I do want to just show you another slide. Again, I want to thank Sweet Buzz. They are our one of our anchor corporate partners for the Chicago Summer Series, which is coming back. We are less than a month away from the Westchester TOC and the start of the Chicago Summer Series, which, of course, Sweet Buzz, one of our partners. So if you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out. And if you see Nick Drabel from Moneyline or Flashline next week in the Dome and you want to know more about their products, feel free to talk to Nick. It's his company, his family started it, and Nick is telling us that it's coming along pretty well. So, again, all of our partners, when you come out, you see their banners, make sure that you support them. Today we're out here at Q's, so if you ever want a good place to go eat, it's on Butterfield Road, just Google it, Q's Restaurant, and come on out. Great food, good people here. They're jumping in this year as one of our corporate sponsors, and we'll put this information up. We are looking for another anchor partner, perhaps two, for the summer series. So if any of you out there are running businesses or know of any companies that are softball friendly and they want to help us continue the great work that we do, they can reach out to us at info@ssasoftball.com, or they can give me a call at 708-807-7043, and we would love to talk to them about getting them involved with the SSA and helping us do all of the great stuff that we do for 16-in softball. So as we get ready, softball this week should be a lot of fun. And next week we got Matty Dozen's kickoff classic. Matty is looking for a couple more teams. He'd like to kind of even out the field. I think he's at 13 or 14, and he's looking for a couple of more teams. He'd like to get to a nice even 16 if he can. Again, that'll be out in Oak Lawn. So that tournament should move pretty quickly because they do have a lot of diamonds there. I'm not sure how many Matty is going to use for the event, but a little different location. First look at a lot of the teams. Hopefully the weather's going to be nice. And, of course, that Oak Lawn area, I happen to live there, a lot of restaurants in the area. So, if you're looking to come out and watch softball, that's usually a comfortable place to watch a tournament. So that's kind of where we're at. Any final words, Jer?
No, we said it all. We covered it all, and I'm hopefully looking forward to a great Dome playoffs, and thanks for everybody who tuned in.
Okay, so that's our Winter Dome playoff preview show, and we'll see. If we got time next week, maybe we'll take a look at the Kickoff Classic and maybe get back on the air. But we got some other surprises coming up, too, this year, some different content we're going to be launching. Can't tell you yet, but it should be fun. So anyways, on behalf of the SSA, Sweet Buzz, myself, Jerry Brown, would like to thank you for tuning in. Be safe out there. And if you're celebrating Easter this weekend, we hope you have a happy Easter, and we'll catch you all next week.
Take care.